Erika Ishii.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you do in the game?
So I am the voice of Sector, and it's a new version of Sector, and I am so thrilled to be here because I grew up playing Mortal Kombat, and now to get to be a part of that legacy is a dream, literally a dream come true.
What is your favorite part about the character?
Hmm. Listen, I'm going to tell you the words of all of the devs. She's very badass. You know, like I'm not me, just the character. So.
Do you have a favorite character in Mortal Kombat?
I named Katana badly, but yeah, when I was younger, I always loved. I mean, she's so hot, and the fans. So yeah.
The CEO of Saber Interactive a week or so ago came right out and commented on an Asmongold video, saying that he is against political messaging in games and hopes to make more games like Space Marine 2 as a way to combat this kind of content we see. I need a statement like that from Sucker Punch, renouncing this backward, regressive approach. It's okay if they hire people like this voice actress. I don't mind that necessarily as long as the activism doesn't seep into the game, but I need to be assured that they aren't going to preach at us before I'm willing to give the game a chance. And that was the stance of many gamers right away. They were very standoffish with this game. In response, Sean Layden, the former head of Sony Interactive Entertainment, felt compelled to weigh in, saying, "If you don't like it, don't buy it." You may remember this was the same line used years ago when Battlefield 5 came out. People hated that they were trying to portray women as fighters in World War II in that game. When gamers complained, they said, "If you don't like it, don't buy it." The marketing strategy was asinine, and it failed miserably. They saw a staggering drop in sales numbers. I think it's also noteworthy to point out the contradiction in the arguments of those who want to bury any criticism of their corporate masters. On the one hand, when we complain about a female protagonist being shoehorned into a series for pandering purposes, like what we are expecting in Ghost of Tsushima, they call men sexist bigots. Yet, on the other hand, when we point at Stellar Blade, which features a female character as the protagonist, and we say that game is good and should be a Game of the Year candidate, and they call men incels. Okay, this is the part where I will talk a bit about my background. I've worked approximately 10 years in sales and marketing. I've sold high-end cosmetics like anti-aging and masks and stuff. I'm not going to bore you with the details of the high-end cosmetics because you don't care about that kind of stuff. You are not my target audience for that crap. But you know who cares? Women. I sold packages between $500 to $1,500 USD. Now you might be thinking, who the hell buys creams at $500 to $1,000? I'll tell you who. Not you. So this is the part that's really been confusing me for the past couple of years with these brain-dead statements from devs. I worked in sales, and sales is brutal, guys. I trained people in sales. I trained them how to identify the target audience. And our target was women, age between 40 to 60. That's the sweet spot for the big sales. These are the women that are going to spend thousands of dollars for cosmetics and consultations. I sold products and services to a 38-year-old woman at over $6,000. Shocking, I know, but for her it was worth it. And the only reason I was able to make these kind of sales is because I studied the market. I studied my target audience. It's easy, guys. It's called market research. Oh, and another thing, white women spent more because they are a lot more insecure than black women about their skin. If you say that this statement is racist, you are a complete fool, and I'd make sure that nobody would hire you in sales. Next, so when I started to look deeper into what these gaming corporations have done in the past years, and what people they hired, and the type of agendas they are pushing, it's not just shocking to me. It's beyond my mental capabilities to understand why and how. I think quantum physics makes more sense to me than what these gaming corporations are doing. Imagine, just imagine, I go one day to the office, and the big CEO of the company comes in and says, "We need to be more diverse, and we need to include 20-year-old males as a target customer. And let's neglect our most loyal customers that already gave us millions of dollars in profits. Oh, and let's start name-calling them." If I'd hear something like that from our CEO, I'd call the ambulance. The whole team would be convinced that the CEO is having a stroke. Dear publishers, there is nothing wrong with diversity in games, but just stop gender swapping. Stop hiring people that are not cool to write characters like this.
But luckily for newbies, this is a good jumping on point. I did the whole Robin Hood thing in Gotham a while. That iceberg lounge party heist. Me and mine. Now, Metropolis is under siege, and it's being suppressed in media. I had to get in there and do something. Okay, I had some help from the Suicide Squad. Thanks, Dad. Shot. Anyway, Brainiac's been doing this mega colonizing shtick across multiple dimensions, so I've been exploring,
Having
documenting...
said that, there are a bunch of people who saw a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima and thought, hey, that looks pretty cool. The original was so good that Sucker Punch has built up a ton of goodwill, and gamers want to give this thing the benefit of the doubt. I, for one, want this game to be awesome, so it's no surprise that the trailer itself was fairly well received. But over on social media and platforms like YouTube, people are beginning to talk as details about the game are being uncovered. Look at how quickly, for example, The Last of Us Part 2 was turned on by gamers. Once word spread about what was in it, and that was all the way back in 2020. Gamers are much better organized now, and even more of the casual gamers are starting to pay attention to the preaching in games and avoiding wokeness once it is uncovered. With all this being said, let's read about this rumor detailed in an article from That Park Place. A new rumor claims that Sony executives are seemingly not happy with the response to the announcement trailer for Ghost of Tsushima, and that a number of developers were blindsided by the new female character, Atsu. YouTuber Endymion On shared this information from an alleged insider. He said, apparently, Ghost of Tsushima blindsided many people at Sony who were not aware of what Sucker Punch was making. He added that people in the mid-levels at Sony were confused when the game was announced, as they were under the impression that Jin Sakai would be getting a sequel. Endymion also shared that they are not happy at all when it comes to the response to that game either, internally at Sony. But yeah, this rumor makes a lot of sense. Put yourself in the shoes of a mid-level Sony executive right now. They just lost a fortune on Concord. They were embarrassed because everyone but them could apparently see from a mile away that this game was going to be a failure. The thing is, at these corporations, the people at the top aren't the ones who lose their jobs over these failures. They may be the ones making the bad decisions, the ones listening to the shrieking feminist types in their office and deciding to embrace controversy, but they are not the ones punished for the failures. The mid-level people are the ones who pay with their livelihoods. Imagine how those people are feeling right now. Games take forever to develop these days, 3 or 4 years at a minimum. So there hasn't been enough time for these video game companies to course correct in response to the figurative bloodbath that has taken place in the industry in 2024. These executives are watching in horror as games that started development in 2020 and 2021 are now coming out and running into the anti-woke buzzsaw that has really taken hold. So it's no wonder that we are hearing about people panicking at Sony right now. This game should have been an easy success, but choosing not to bring back Jin, replacing him with a female protagonist, and hiring someone like Erika Ishii to play the character, that's like taking an easy layup and turning it into a half-court shot. Sure, you might still make it, but it's a lot harder. Now, on the other hand, here's my take. I'm not going to name names, but someone recently said, if there's no Jin Sakai in the narrative, I'm done. And if it's full of woke ideology, that's where I stop. Please, if there's no drama yet, don't make it up. Don't use the same recycled script you've already used on Assassin's Creed, Shadows, and Suicide Squad. For starters, it's set 300 years in the future. At least read the first paragraph of the game description before making a video on it. There are real issues in gaming, but you choose to focus on whatever new title is trending. Remember what I said 2 months ago? They'll get bored of Assassin's Creed Shadows and move on to the next controversy. Am I missing something? I can't find any dirt on the voice actress beyond her being lesbian or bi, and honestly, it's nobody's business. Sure, she has all pronouns on her profile, but to me, that seems more like trolling than anything else. I watched some interviews with her and she seems nice and humble, like she talks like a human. Before Ghost of Tsushima was announced, she was a pretty respected person from what I'm seeing. She is hired as an actress, not a sweet baby ink consultant. I think we should take a step back. Oh, and FYI, all actors are crazy. Again, maybe I'm overlooking something, but it feels like unnecessary drama. If these anti-woke YouTubers are lying, then I think it's time YouTube steps in. I'm all for gamers and anti-woke content, but spreading lies about people just to get clicks? In any case, I'll leave it there. Drop your thoughts on the Ghost of Tsushima situation in the comment section below, and we'll talk there.